What's up, guys? I hope you all are having a great day today, just full of positivity and happiness, dude. You know, I really hope I don't ruin it, man, because we're going to be taking a look at a truly wonderful YouTube video that, I kind of teased in my previous video that I had found a video where a guy was trying to claim that the Battlefield franchise was always about single-player campaigns.
Because Battlefield was always a single-player game with multiplayer added on. It was never a multiplayer game with a single-player campaign. Yes, over the years, there may have been more of an emphasis on multiplayer, but it was still always a single-player game with multiplayer on the side.
And that the removal of the single-player campaign in Battlefield 2042 was going to result in the downfall of the entire video game industry, and anyone who supports this game and goes out and buys it is doing irreversible damage to gaming as a whole.
Because I think I've made it really clear why just giving EA your money is not only hurtful to you, whether you realize it or not, but it's also damaging to the entire gaming industry.
Like, that's not over dramatic whatsoever, dude. But anyway, this video we're going to be watching is absolutely fantastic. Now, Battlefield 2042 is a game I'm personally really looking forward to. I think it looks fantastic. I think DICE really killed it with the setting this year. Overall, it is a massive improvement in every way imaginable from the dumpster fire known as Battlefield 5. So overall, I think the game's looking great. I actually have it pre-ordered right now, so I'm really looking forward to playing this game. But, not everyone is on the same page as we're about to find out. So I think without further ado, guys, let's just go ahead and get into this video, bro, because it is a little bit on the long side. We're talking about 25 minutes of just pure quality content. So go ahead, sit back, relax, grab some popcorn, grab a drink, grab some drugs, whatever you might need, man, and let's go ahead and play this shit. We really got to take a moment to appreciate that absolutely amazing MLG trickshot YY no scope 360 headshot YouTube intro, man. It really just gets me pumped.
What's happening, guys? Souping over here, back with another video, and oh, this is gonna be a fucking good one, guys.
Bro, I'm like really confused. When did Emperor Palpatine start making YouTube gaming videos?
Because I have a lot I have to say about this particular topic. Because honestly, the more and more I thought about EA and this Battlefield 2042 game, the more it really pissed me off. And all I'm going to ask you is, regardless of how you feel about the situation, just please hear me out, hear what I have to say.
Don't you worry, man. We're going to sit through all 25 minutes of it.
Because the video is really going to be, a twofold video. The first part's really going to be me explaining why I have issues with EA and the shit they're doing with this game. And the second part, and probably more importantly, is an explanation as to why I have issues with certain gamers' attitudes regarding EA and what they're doing with this game. And in many cases, their attitudes are probably actually more damaging to us as gamers than what EA is doing.
You know what? He's right, guys. We are doing serious harm to the video game industry by being excited about this game. By planning on picking this game up day one, we are doing irrevocable harm to the video game industry. And overall, dude, we're just worse than EA themselves, bro. Like, we are quite literally worse than Gaming Hitler.
But with all that said, let's move into why I have an issue with EA and Battlefield 2042.
This is where the fun begins.
First, let's talk about the pricing of the game. And for this example, I'm going to be using the current gen pricing of the game. So the price that you would pay if you're purchasing it on Series X or PlayStation 5.
Oh god, here comes the age-old argument of people saying that a multiplayer-only game shouldn't be full price, but a single-player-only game, that's perfectly fine to be full price. Like, you really love to see it, man. The double standard never fails to amuse me.
So we have the standard edition at $69.99, the gold edition at $99.99, and then the ultimate edition at $119.99. So effectively $70, $100, and $120. And what's the difference between all of these?
I mean, it literally said it up on the screen, but you know what? Please tell us, bro. You know, enlighten us. You know, if I really wanted to be a dick, I'd say something like, oh my god, bro, do you think the people who watch your videos are so stupid they can't even read? But you know what? I'm not gonna take it there.
And by the way, this is a criticism I have for gaming in general, not just EA or Battlefield, but we're talking about this case specifically in this video. What's the difference between them? With the exceptions of the Gold and Ultimate Edition giving you early access to the game, the difference between them is literally just fucking cosmetics.
I don't know, man. Like, why is this even a big deal? If it's cosmetic, it has no effect on gameplay whatsoever. If you don't want it, don't buy it. And if you do want it and you want to spend the extra money, go for it. It's up to you at the end of the day. It's going to have no effect on gameplay whatsoever. So I don't even know why this is a big fucking deal. Seems like a pretty generic digital deluxe edition.
You know, you'll get the Gold Edition, and you'll get the Baku ACB-90 Epic Melee Takedown Knife. Ooh. So you can tell all the people you're playing with, "Hey, you see my knife? It's an epic knife. Isn't it awesome? Yeah, it's epic. I didn't have to accomplish anything to get it. I didn't have to do anything special to get it. I just gave them more money, and they gave me an epic knife."
You know, it almost sounds natural when this dude talks in that voice because, you know, he's definitely on some very big-brained shit from time to time.
If the PlayStation 5 could run Horizon Forbidden West at 120 frames per second, I would still want the game running at 30.
Look, here's the thing.
Fine. Listen,
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm kind of retarded.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's really just fucking cosmetics.
So if it's literally just cosmetic items that have no effect on the gameplay whatsoever, why did you even bring it up?
And then because they've now changed Battlefield from being a game where you pick a character class as you're going into battle to a game where you just pick a hero, very similar to something like Apex Legends or Rogue Company.
Bro, this game is going to be nothing like Apex Legends.
You can pay more money to get immediate access to heroes that will be unlocked later on down the line. So instead of having to play the game and acquire whatever in-game currency there is to unlock these heroes when they become available, you just give them extra money, and the second they become available, boom, they're unlocked for you. This game is also going to have a battle pass system.
You know, let's go ahead and read about this battle pass real quick, just so we're very clear here, okay? There is no content locked from the free battle pass option. What we mean by this is there is no meaningful content that is tucked away behind a paywall. That means all players get the same maps, the same specialist, and the same weapons, the same everything. I think it's pretty clear. Both battle passes, the free and paid for one, unlock all items that have an actual effect on gameplay, whether that be specialist or weapon, so I don't really know what the complaint is here. If you want the new specialist, you want the new weapon, just play the game like you normally would. Does it really make that big of a difference that someone might get it before you? I mean, think about it. The motherfuckers that play 24/7 are gonna unlock it before you anyway, so what's really the big deal?
Very similar, again, to Apex Legends, Rogue Company, or even Call of Duty Warzone, where if you buy the premium battle pass, the more you play the game, the more shit you will eventually unlock. Because without the battle pass, as you play, there'll be items that you would have been able to unlock had you had the battle pass, but you're gonna miss them. So as you're playing, you're like, oh shit, if I would have had the battle pass, I would have just unlocked a 30-minute booster, or I would have unlocked a new skin for my weapon, or I would have unlocked a new emoji for my character. But because I don't have the battle pass, I missed out on those things.
Well, if you find value in what the Battle Pass offers, you can always go back and buy the Battle Pass and it'll unlock everything retroactively, so I don't really know what the big problem is, man. Like, you can make the conscious decision at any point. Do I want to buy this Battle Pass or do I not? You can look through it, you can see all the unlocks that are on it, and if you think there's enough value there to justify buying the Battle Pass, you can buy it. If not, you don't have to buy it. You're still going to get all the items that affect gameplay regardless, so it's really not that big a deal.
Right? So the Battle Pass incentivizes you to go and purchase it so you don't feel like you're missing out on shit. And they're very clever in the way they show the Battle Pass, because it's just a timeline. And as you're progressing, it shows you all the shit that you could have. But hey, you don't have the Battle Pass, right? It is sneaky shit, okay?
I have hundreds of hours in Modern Warfare, and I rarely buy the Battle Pass.
Now, I know a lot of you right now are saying, yo, Supernova, I really don't see a problem with any of this so far.
Yeah, I guess I would kind of fall into that boat.
And hold on, because I'm getting there, okay? Now, what else did we learn about Battlefield 2042 yesterday? We learned that Battlefield 2042 is a online multiplayer only game.
Oh my god, dude, I can only play multiplayer in a Battlefield game? I'm canceling my pre-order right now.
As in, it does not have any single player campaign. Why does this matter? Because they're charging full price for this game, and they're essentially selling you half of a fucking game.
But when a single-player only game comes out and they charge full price, they're not selling half of a game. Even if it doesn't have a multiplayer, dude, that's still a full game right there. Like, you really have to appreciate this double standard. It's perfectly fine for a single-player only game to charge full price, even though there's no multiplayer. But the second a multiplayer only game dares to do the same thing with no campaign, you know, everybody fucking loses their mind.
Introduce a little anarchy.
Because Battlefield was always a single-player game with multiplayer added on. It was never a multiplayer game with a single-player campaign.
You serious?
Yes, over the years, there may have been more of an emphasis on multiplayer, but it was still always a single-player game with multiplayer on the side.
This is how you know these people are just absolutely fucking brain dead, dude. These are literal armchair intellectuals. They want to talk and act like they have any sort of clue about what they're talking about when they literally have no idea about anything, man. The original Battlefield games never had a single player campaign. It wasn't until like, what, Battlefield 2 Modern Combat or Bad Company 1 that there was even a single player campaign in any of the Battlefield games, and even then, the primary focus has always been the multiplayer game modes. The entire point of Battlefield was to innovate the multiplayer first-person shooter genre. Like, the simple fact that he's trying to act like he's some sort of authority on this game series and doesn't know this very fucking simple fact and is trying to claim that these games have always been about the campaign just really shows you the average intelligence of people making this argument.
And I know right away some of you are going to be like, yo, Supernova, that's because nobody gives a shit about the single-player campaign.
I mean, sure, that too. Battlefield campaigns are nothing special, but I think you're forgetting the fact that Battlefield has always been about the multiplayer.
Nobody buys Battlefield for the single-player campaign. They buy it for the multiplayer.
I mean, this hypothetical person he's talking about kind of has a point.
And I'm going to say to you, that's not necessarily true, and in my opinion, I think it's bullshit because I'm one of those people who would buy this game for its single-player campaign.
Jesus Christ, man, do you really hate yourself that much that you buy a Battlefield game for the campaign? Oh my god, bro. I actually kind of feel bad for you. Like, all jokes aside, that's pretty fucking depressing.
We do exist, and I'm going to ask you a question. Think about who we're talking about here.
Oh god, here it comes, bro. EA bad. I guess he's trying to farm some Reddit karma.
Give me your fucking money!
We're talking about EA here, one of the greediest fucking publishers in the business.
Now that's what I like to call a certified Reddit moment. So stunning and brave, dude. EA bad. You know, thank you for coming out and saying what everyone else was afraid to.
So is it more likely that A, EA looked at their statistics and said, hey, it looks like nobody's playing single player, let's just not make that. Or B, they said, hey, you know what? I bet you we could scrap single player and still sell these dumb motherfuckers just as many copies of the game. And hey, even if we don't sell as many copies, think about it. We don't have to spend money on mocap, voice actors, someone to write the story, animators to animate big set pieces. None of that shit. And I bet you we can still sell almost the same amount of copies. And you know what? That's going to help us pocket millions of dollars.
I mean, it's probably a little bit of both, bro. Like, in all honesty, most people are not buying a Battlefield game for the campaign. They're buying it for the multiplayer, and at the same time, EA is a company. Their biggest priority is to make money, so I don't really know why this is so outrageous to think about. I mean, look at a company like Apple. They don't even give you a fucking charger in the box anymore. But in the case of Battlefield 2042, I'd say it's much less egregious. I don't think anyone looks back on Battlefield 3 and 4 and goes, you know what I really enjoyed about that game so much? That amazing single-player campaign, not the hundreds of hours I spent in multiplayer.
Right? What do you think is the more likely scenario coming from
Give me your fucking money!
that internally they saw that just not enough people like or want to play single player, or that they saw internally that, hey, we can probably scrap single player, so close to the same number of copies, if not the same number of copies, and pocket the difference?
Like I said, it was probably a combination of both. I don't really know why it has to be one or the other.
What do you think is actually fucking happening here? And think about the fact that this is the same EA who sells us a Madden and FIFA every fucking year, even though they're almost identical to the Madden and FIFA that came before. They're pretty much the same game with a roster update. This is the same fucking EA that's like, yo, look at these dumb motherfuckers. They're willing to buy the same shit we sold them last year with an updated roster. How fucking stupid are they?
And people still buy the game every single year and think it's worth the money, so can you really blame EA for doing that? I mean, if I was a company and my customer kept buying the product I put out with very little changes every single year, why the fuck would I change anything? That's just common sense. Money talks, all this YouTube bullshit walks, bro. You are not their target market. And I don't really know what the fuck FIFA and Madden have to do with Battlefield 2042.
Right? And now again, I'm sure there's some of you out there that are like, yo, Supernova, I still don't see the problem. Well, here's the fucking problem. Even though I don't like the battle pass and the heroes and, microtransactions for cosmetics or any of that bullshit, I can accept it in a game like Apex Legends or a game like Rogue Company or a game like Call of Duty Warzone. Because those games are free to fucking play.
Yeah, and they're also singular game modes. Battlefield is multiple game modes. If you want to play the multiplayer portion of Call of Duty Modern Warfare outside of Warzone, you're gonna have to buy the game.
It doesn't cost me a single cent if I want to download those games and play them. The only way that those games make money is if people are buying the battle pass and the cosmetics and the microtransactions. That's the only way that those games make money. So even though I don't like that shit, in games like that, I can accept it. But Battlefield 2042 is a full fucking price game. So you're going to be paying minimum, if you're on the older generations and PC, minimum $59.99.
Oh my god, dude, a new AAA game coming out at full price? The fucking horror. That's never happened before in the history of the Battlefield franchise.
To then also have battle passes and microtransactions and no single player campaign.
Is it confirmed that the game's gonna have microtransactions outside of the battle pass? Because I've heard nothing about this. I think he's kind of just pulling this shit out of his ass, kind of like Dreamcast guy was. But damn, bro, he's really upset about that missing campaign. Like, you would think he would never have played a Battlefield campaign before if he's really this upset at the prospect of not getting a campaign. Because if you've ever played a Battlefield campaign, you would know they're nothing special.
Apex Legends, another game published by EA, is free to play, and it made $600 million last year in microtransactions. Which again, hey, it is a free-to-play game. The only way they're making money is through microtransactions. But here comes EA saying, you know what? How about we fucking put microtransactions in the game and we fucking charge them for the game? Why fucking not?
I just find this really funny because if you know anything about the Battlefield community, people used to bitch all the time that Battlefield had a season pass, because what would happen is the people who would buy the season pass would end up with a very small player pool of people to play against, and eventually they couldn't find matches and would have to uninstall the DLC or just play on the original maps and never really get to use the DLC map. So Battlefield shifted away from the season pass model of charging $50 for all future content updates and decided, you know what, we're going to give those content updates for free, and we're going to move towards a cosmetic battle pass method of monetization post-launch, which I think is the much better alternative to having new content locked behind a paywall and like literally punishing players who go out and spend more money. So if you don't want to buy the battle pass, you don't have to. It has no effect on gameplay whatsoever. It's only cosmetic items, and it's for people who want to spend money on it. If you don't, again, no effect on gameplay whatsoever, but everyone's still going to get all future content updates. It keeps the game fresh. There's going to be new content updates regularly, and that way the entire community isn't divided provided. So personally, I think that's the better alternative, but you know, people will never be satisfied. And for the people going, well, why don't they just not charge for anything? Bro, it's a company. You really think they're going to turn down free money when people are literally ready to throw it at them? You know, let's be a little bit realistic here.
Right? Because this is the same EA who's constantly in hot water for their fucking loot boxes and constantly in hot water because they're being accused of basically having gambling in their video games. Because I don't know if you understand this or not, EA, and not just them, but many publishers throughout gaming, are using our brains and our psychology against us, because things like loot boxes, things like the battle passes, they are designed to take advantage of the dopamine that our brains produce when we win shit.
Well, Battlefield never has and never probably will have loot boxes, so I don't really know what the fuck this has to do with anything. Oh shit, I forgot. EA bad. I don't know, man. I just get sick of hearing about grown-ass men bitch about fucking loot boxes, bro. Like, just don't fucking buy them.
That's why gambling is so addictive. When you play slots and you win something, your brain produces dopamine, the feel-good chemical, and you feel good.
I mean, who doesn't enjoy winning money?
That's why anytime you unlock something in these games, whether it be through a loot box or the battle pass or something, there's always some type of noise, some type of chime, some type of flash or effect on the screen. Because that's how it triggers the dopamine in our brains. And that's how they get people addicted to these systems.
Bro, who the fuck gets addicted to a battle pass, bro? Like, you literally see everything you're about to unlock. There is no rush.
They're taking advantage of us.
Let's hope he never finds out about marketing.
These publishers are constantly looking for new ways to fuck us over, new ways to siphon cash from our wallets. They're constantly doing it, and they're constantly pushing more and more and more. So whereas people may see Battlefield 2042 as, oh look, this new online multiplayer game is coming out, I see it as EA saying, hey, I bet you we can sell these dumb motherfuckers this online-only game and still make a fuck ton off the microtransactions.
Yeah, bro, they're really going to be raking in that money from a $10 battle pass every 3 months, dude. Holy shit, that's an absurd amount of money. And on top of that, you don't even have to buy it, bro. Like, what microtransactions are you talking about? They have literally only confirmed a battle pass. If it's only cosmetic items in the paid-for battle pass, I don't know why the fuck you care. Like, I don't fucking know, dude. It just seems like people are ready to get pissed off over anything these days.
At the end of the fucking day, they're selling us less, but they're asking more for it. And I'm sorry, no. They can go fuck themselves. I'm not buying this game.
Yeah, I'm sure EA and DICE are absolutely devastated to hear that, but don't you worry, man. My Ultimate Edition pre-order will make up for your missing sale.
And the thing is, you shouldn't either.
Oh god, here we go.
Let me get into the next part of the video, because as destructive as I think publishers like EA are to gaming, it is the mentality of certain gamers out there that I think is ultimately more destructive, because there are millions of you out there who are apologists for EA, or who make excuses for the shit they do, or who say, oh, it's not a big deal, or oh, it's not bad, or oh, it's okay. And I'm here to fucking tell you, no, it's not.
Yeah, that's right, dude. If you aren't literally getting pissed off over the fact that Battlefield 2042 doesn't have a campaign, you're quite literally part of the problem, man. You know, you might want to take a long, hard look in the mirror. You might want to look inwards to find out what you really want to be as a person, man. Do you want to be single-handedly responsible for the downfall of the video game industry, dude, just because you want to play a game like Battlefield 2042? You know, these are questions you need to ask yourself every single night before you go to bed, man. Do you want to be part of the problem, or do you want to be part of the solution? Me, I'm fine being an EA apologist. I don't really fucking care at the end of the day. It's a video game, bro. It's really not that deep.
Something else you need to think about when it comes to EA, specifically fucking EA, is this scrapping single player thing is not something that's new or something they just thought of. They've been trying to get rid of single player for years. This is the very same EA who back in 2010...
Damn, you're really having to dig deep for that one. I'm sure whatever you're going to talk about isn't outdated at this point. You know, what was that, only 11 years ago? You know, it feels like yesterday.
Yes, 2010, 11 fucking years ago.
And this is relevant because?
Tried saying that single-player games are dead.
Of fucking course it's this one, bro. I mean, this quote is taken out of context all the time, and even then I think EA has come back and said, like, yeah, we've kind of reversed our stance on this, and if anything, we've seen EA kind of double down on putting out more single-player experiences in recent years, so I don't really think this is relevant anymore, and if anything, it just seems like desperation on his part. I mean, this is literally like someone trying to talk shit about the PlayStation 5 by bringing up the 2011 PSN hack. A lot of shit changes in a literal decade.
Here's the exact quote. They're very comfortable moving the discussion towards how we make connected gameplay, be it cooperative or multiplayer or online services, as opposed to fire and forget, package goods only, single player, 25 hours, and you're out. I think that model is finished.
11 years ago, they were trying to tell us that people aren't playing the single player. 11 years ago, they were trying to condition us to the idea that people don't care about single player, all they care about is multiplayer.
Well, when it comes to Battlefield and most first-person shooters for that matter, I think they were kind of right.
And again, I think that's bullshit. And even if you personally don't give a shit about single player, it doesn't mean that people don't give a shit about single player.
Yeah, and I don't give a shit that you give a shit, bro. Like, it has nothing to do with my decision to go and purchase a game. I don't base my decision to go and purchase a game off of other people's opinion of that game. If I'm interested in it and I think it offers me the value for my money, I'm gonna go out and buy it, man. It's really that simple. I quite literally could not give a fuck if people are ass blasted over the fact that it doesn't have a campaign. It has no effect on me and therefore has no effect on my purchase.
Whether the single player games are dead, as evident by many single player games becoming huge critical and financial successes since 2010.
Yeah, and just another fun fact, many of which were made by EA, which kind of just further disproves your point.
So EA has been trying to condition us to not care about single player for over a fucking decade. I want you to think about that. Here's a couple of comments to illustrate the most common kind of pushback I get when I complain about Battlefield 2042. I never played Battlefield single-player campaign since Battlefield 3 and always wanted it out of Battlefield series. Battlefield is a multiplayer game and EA should give 100% time to Battlefield Online.
I mean, I kind of agree. I wouldn't necessarily say I want it out of Battlefield, but am I upset that it is? Absolutely not.
No campaign is great in my opinion. It means more development went into the part of the game that has the most replay value. Plus, it's been confirmed you can play against AI bots. Not sure if you need to be online for that, but it's a great addition, I think. And look, I understand what these people are saying and where they're coming from. But I would like to say that, to say shit like, well, I don't play the single player, so fuck it, I don't give a shit about it, is a bit selfish if we're being honest, right?
Yeah, gaming is a selfish hobby. It's a luxury item. You do not need gaming to survive. The only opinion that should matter when you go to buy a game is your own. If you think the game is worth your money, it offers you the value for the price, go for it, man. That's the only opinion that matters. It's not selfish to buy a video game because some loser on the internet like this dude's getting bent because there isn't a campaign in it. I don't know, man. I really hate this mentality. I mean, it's kind of ironic he's calling other people selfish.
Right? You fucking selfish sons of bitches. But that's not the point I'm trying to make.
Really? Because you kind of just made it.
The point I'm trying to make is that these individuals, and again, I understand where they're coming from. They're thinking, hey, if they don't spend money and time and resources on single player, they can put more time and resources and money into multiplayer and make the multiplayer experience much bigger and much better, right? And hey, that is a fair outlook to have. That is a fair thought to have. That is a fair conclusion for you to have, seeing that they've scrapped single player. It is totally fair for you to think, oh, they scrapped single player to take that shit and roll it into making multiplayer even better.
I mean, I would have to agree, man. It's obvious common sense that if developers aren't working on the single player, those same developers who are paid a salaried position would therefore be tasked to work on multiplayer as well. Like, this is pretty fucking basic shit, man. If you have employees at a company that are there to do a job, if that job is only working on multiplayer and no single player, common sense would dictate that all of the employees and developers at that studio would be working on the multiplayer aspect. Now, of course, that's a reasonable stance to have, according to him, but, you know, I think things might change in a couple seconds here.
Totally fair to think that, right? And you know what? In the world of Leave It to Beaver, maybe that would be the case, right? Like, gee, guys, they're scrapping single player to put all that money back into making multiplayer better. That's how it would work in fucking like 1950s Leave It to Beaverland, right? But in the real world, in 2021, with a company whose motto is,
Give me your fucking money!
if you honestly think that they're taking whatever money they're saving by scrapping single player to then roll it into the multiplayer.
Yeah, let me just clarify what I said earlier. I was not saying that they were going to take the budget of the single player and put it directly into the multiplayer. Like, it's not going to be a one-to-one transfer, obviously, but what is going to happen is all the developers and staff that were supposed to be working on a single player campaign, if there was one, are now going to be redirected into working on the multiplayer. So there is going to be more time, more manpower, and more active developers working on the multiplayer that would have been working on the single player otherwise, which is going to result in most likely a better, more flushed out multiplayer experience, which, if you're a fan of Battlefield, is exciting news. I'm not saying that there's going to be a one-to-one transfer of the budget from single player to multiplayer. That's stupid. Like, obviously that's not how game development works anyway, because you already have paid employees, and if you don't have to pay actors and shit to come in and do extra stuff, like, you get the point, okay? To say that multiplayer is not going to benefit from there not being a campaign, I think is absolutely fucking ridiculous, because you're actively getting more developers working on the multiplayer aspect than you would if you had a campaign.
To make the multiplayer a bigger, better experience, then I have some fucking magic beans to sell you, my friend. I have these magic beans to fucking sell you because, Jesus Christ, you are fucking naive. Why would they?
Why would they make a better multiplayer experience? I don't know. Isn't their whole goal to get people to keep coming back to it and buying the battle pass every single time it comes out? So, you know, common sense would kind of dictate that they'd want the multiplayer to be good so people come back and keep spending money. But, you know, maybe I'm the crazy one here. You know, sign me up for those fucking beans, right?
There's no reason to.
Yeah, why would they want to make their game good?
They can sell us the same shit they sell us all the time, minus the single player, pocket the cash, still sell the same amount of copies, and have the microtransactions. And I know that there are going to be some of you out there who are going to say, well, it's not fair to compare Battlefield to games like Apex Legends or Call of Duty Warzone because it's such a bigger game, right? There's going to be way more players in the lobbies, and there's vehicles, and the maps are much bigger, so it's fair to charge money for that.
Yeah, I have no problem paying full price for a multiplayer game that I'm probably going to spend hundreds of hours in.
And I'm here to tell you, no, that doesn't mean shit. That's what Battlefield has always fucking been.
Yep, and it's always come out for the full price of a AAA game, whatever console generation it releases in, so I don't really know what the problem is here. I think people aren't going to have a problem spending full price on a multiplayer game like Battlefield. They're literally going to play for years to come.
So you can't try to make the excuse to me that, oh, well, it has all this other extra shit, so it's worth the full price. No, that's what it's always fucking been. But they scrapped single player and filled it with microtransactions. So no, I'm sorry, that is not a valid excuse.
I mean, I wasn't really looking for your validation when it comes to my purchase, but I mean, I guess thanks for that. Really appreciate the input on that one, dude. But I mean, are we really gonna forget what you said earlier in this video, man? I don't think you have any authority to talk about what people derive value from when it comes to a Battlefield game.
Because Battlefield was always a single player game with multiplayer added on. It was never a multiplayer game with a single-player campaign. Yes, over the years, there may have been more of an emphasis on multiplayer, but it was still always a single-player game with multiplayer on the side. There's no reason for them to be charging full price, and there's literally no reason for them to roll money back into the multiplayer.
Yeah, because if you put in a dog shit multiplayer, that's really going to get people to come back and spend money on the next battle pass.
Because everything they've learned over all the years of Madden and FIFA, everything they've learned from games like Star Wars Battlefront and their loot boxes, everything they've learned from Apex Legends is how best to bend us over, fuck us, and then siphon cash from our wallets.
Wait, a company wanting as much money from its consumers as possible? What world is this, bro?
And how best to accomplish that by doing as little as possible.
Again, that's really going to keep people coming back to spending money on those battle passes, man. You know, you're really spot on with this one.
And the reason that they do this, or the reason that they know they can keep doing this and getting away with it, is because we continue to give them fucking money.
Well, what can I say other than you're welcome?
They know it doesn't matter. They're going to get the money from us anyway. It doesn't matter what they do. We're still going to be dumb enough to give them money. There's a term that you may or may not have heard. It's called FOMO. And FOMO stands for the fear of missing out. And what that basically means is people will either be willing to do shit or be willing to buy shit just because of the fear that they are missing out on something that somebody else has or is experiencing. Like someone who maybe doesn't want to buy Battlefield because of all the reasons I've listed, but their friends bought Battlefield.
Oh my god, guys, wanting to play a video game with your friends? You know, you're not fighting the good fight. How could you? I mean, you literally let your friends buy Battlefield, bro. Can you really call yourself their friend?
And they're afraid of missing out on whatever fun times they could have playing with their friends.
I mean, isn't that the entire point of playing a multiplayer game online, to have fun with your friends?
So you know what? They cave and buy the fucking game anyway.
How can you even call yourself a man?
Even though they, like me, don't want to support the company for all the reasons listed. But that FOMO kicks in. The fear of missing out kicks in, and they buy it anyway. All of these publishers, they know that FOMO is real. They know that they can get the money from us anyway, that it doesn't matter. And that's why, like I said, I am not buying this game, and I implore you to not buy this game. I don't care how much you want to play. I don't care how cool the gameplay may look come the 13th when they show us the gameplay. I don't care. I implore you to not buy this game so we can send a message to EA.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
That no, it is not cool to sell us multiplayer-only games stripped of features that the game used to have, filled with microtransactions and all kinds of other bullshit that is acceptable in a free-to-play game, in a game that they are going to charge us full price for. It is not okay. And any of you out there who think it's okay, I'm going to tell you that you are wrong, and you are part of the fucking problem. It's because of people like you that these publishers continue to bend us the fuck over and push harder and push harder and push harder.
You're the best big brother I could have ever asked for.
Yeah, push harder. Wait, what? My bad, dude. But anyway, yeah, you know, if you're buying Battlefield 2042, you're part of the problem, man. You are single-handedly leading to the downfall of the entire video game industry. Through your selfish actions of wanting to play a video game with your friends, you are leading to the destruction of the video game industry as we know it today. You are the problem. You allowed video game companies like Activision and EA to get to the point where they just continuously bend us over and rail us from behind, man. How can you live with yourself, dude? How do you look at yourself in the mirror and think to yourself, I'm proud of the person I see? You should be ashamed of yourself.
And slowly strip more shit away and more shit away and more shit away. It's because of fucking people like you. And I'm asking you to stop.
That's right, guys. It's time to stop. Only buy video games that he likes, not what you like.
Look at what we were able to accomplish when it came to Battlefront 2. When we all took a collective stand against EA when it came to their fucking loot box bullshit.
Yeah, and this game doesn't have loot boxes in it. It has a cosmetic battle pass, bro. If you're really this tilted over something like this, it really doesn't matter what EA does because they'll never win in your book.
There's zero reason why we can't send the same message when it comes to Battlefield 2042 and the shit that they're trying to pull off here. But as long as we don't say anything, as long as there's no pushback, as long as you just give them your fucking money, they're going to continue to pull this shit on us.
Well, I think the comment I left on your video like 2 weeks ago when we watched this on stream kind of sums it up perfectly, man. I bought the Ultimate Edition. You're welcome.
And look, I understand people like Optimus Code who are making the argument that, hey, that's fucking capitalism, right? This company puts a product out there, And we, as the consumers, decide whether or not we want to give them money for that product. That is capitalism. I totally understand that, and I agree. And I'm all for capitalism. And at the end of the day, I honestly don't give a shit how you spend your money or what you do with your life.
Bro, this man needs to
Keep that same energy.
I mean, this dude literally made a 25-minute video, which comes down to him asking people to not buy a video game, but he doesn't care how people spend their money. Okay, bro, sure.
Just like people who want to use illicit drugs, right? If you want to sit there and shoot up heroin every day, hey, it's your fucking body. You should be able to decide what you do with your own fucking body.
You know, I kind of agree with that sentiment, but the only problem I have is I don't want to pay for your fuck up with my tax money. So yeah, I'm all for people using drugs if they want to. I just don't want to pay for it.
I don't give a shit what you do, right? And it's the same thing when it comes to your money. I don't give a fuck how you spend your money. The difference here,
No, it's either you do care or you don't care. There is no difference here, bro. Like, you're really going to compare Battlefield 2042 to literal heroin, bro? Like, really, we're going to draw this comparison and say, you know, I don't really care how people spend their money. If they want to shoot up drugs all day, who am I to judge? But when it comes to Battlefield 2042, the different, like, bro, we're really going to draw the moral line between literal hardcore drugs and a video game? Like, oh my God, bro.
is that this is a company who is taking advantage of us, taking advantage of the consumers. And they will continue to do so if we just hand them money.
Yeah, but you're okay with people giving money to a drug deal. Like, what the fuck is this, man? I mean, this is a new level of pathetic.
So while I understand the argument that, hey, that's capitalism, in this instance, it is a company who is taking advantage of us.
Yeah, bro, and a drug dealer definitely would never do that. Like, how are we supposed to take this serious, man?
And will continue to do so unless we do something about it. And it's not just EA. This instance is EA. But as other companies see what EA is doing, they're going to follow suit. It'll be a domino effect. When one gets away with it, the other's going to try it. Because it's monkey see, monkey do.
You know, by this logic, this would have already ruined the video game industry a long time ago when Battlefield was releasing multiplayer-only games from the very beginning, but I don't know, man. I guess it didn't kill off single-player games like this dude's implying. I mean, it's almost like you can have games that only have campaigns and games that only have multiplayer, and the video game industry will survive.
In any fucking industry, when somebody does something and finds success, their competition is going to do the same shit. So other publishers are going to see what EA was able to do and say, you know what? We're going to do the same fucking thing. Why not? EA did it. Why can't we fucking do it? Letting publishers and companies get away with taking advantage of us just sets up the precedent for other companies and publishers to take advantage of us.
I mean, the problem is here is I don't really feel taken advantage of. I'm an adult with my own free will. I can spend my money however the fuck I want to. I can make an informed purchase. I don't need some dude on YouTube to tell me that no campaign equals bad.
But at the end of the day, like I said before, it is your money. It is your life. Do whatever you want to do. But just keep in mind the things that I've said.
Well, it's definitely hard to forget at this point.
Because I think I've made it really clear why just giving EA your money is not only hurtful to you, whether you realize it or not, but it's also damaging to the entire gaming industry when it comes to us as consumers. And that's why I am not going to give EA a single fucking cent for Battlefield 2042, and why I am telling EA that they can go fuck themselves. And I really, like I said, implore you to do the same.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
And with that, that's all I got for you guys on this one. And that's the video, guys. Let me know what you think down in the comments. And if you agree with anything I've said today in this video, do me a favor and please share this video. Share it to as many fucking people as you possibly can.
Well, man, I did my best. I shared it to as many people as I possibly could. I don't know if you're going to get the reaction that you're hoping for, but you know what? You can't say I didn't do my part. But anyway, guys, that is going to do it for this video today, man. I guess the key takeaway here is no campaign equals bad. Battle Pass equals bad. EA bad. Battlefield bad overall, bro. Like, I don't know what else I can take away from this video, dude. You know, if you were buying Battlefield 2042, you were part of the problem. You were single-handedly leading to the decline of the video game industry, and you should honestly be ashamed with yourself. But, you know, big ups to everybody who made it to the end of this video. This is a long-ass motherfucker, bro. Like, I really do appreciate it. This was going for a lot longer than I thought it would. I mean, I was responding to like a 24-minute video, so I knew it was going to be long. I just didn't know how long. At least that's what chicks say about my dick, bro. But anyway, guys, that is going to do it for this video today. If you did enjoy it, please slap a like on it. I would greatly appreciate it. You know, this was a beast of a video to put together, so hopefully you did enjoy it. And if you did, you know, help your boy out with that sweet, sweet like, man. And if you're new, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell, bro, because YouTube just loves not notifying people when I upload. But anyway, guys, as always, I want to thank you all so much for taking the time out of your day to check out this video and for all the recent support as well. You guys are the fucking best, and I really do appreciate it. And I will catch you guys next time.